Hello money magnets and master traders, it's your Uncle Chartis, and boy oh boy, I think the bears put in a lower high. Let me show you guys how I traded today. What was the plan today? I wrote here in my Discord, first post of the day, 9:25 a.m. Below 681 is a bearish warning and puts 679 and 677 blue trend line in play. If 677 fails, SPY will be in false breakout mode with 675.5 in play next, then 674, 672.5, 671, and 669. I tell you, SPY hit almost all of my levels today. And for all my returning viewers, you guys know Uncle uses the 15-minute chart to day trade. And it was incredible. This green line right here, that's my 681 level. Remember, below it, Uncle was bearish. That was our bearish warning. It broke down. 679 came very close. This is a few cents shy of my 667 level before it attempted a bounce. Now this bounce was interesting because it nearly hit my 681 level before it gave us a hard rejection. It was pretty much showing that yesterday's buy zone, right there, you guys see the buying pressure there. Yesterday's buy zone is today's sell zone. That is bearish price action behavior when a support level turns into a resistance. And right there on the 10:15 candle to the 10:30 candle, it broke down my 679 level. And that was when the beautiful day began. And I alerted the group. 679 lost again, putting 670-ish back in play. No calls unless 679 or 681. Above 681, I would have been bullish. But no call unless 679 or 681 can recapture. As you guys can see, that's exactly what didn't happen. It broke down 679 and hit my 677 level, but the fun was not over. We had more than just one level to level move because it broke down 677 as well on the 15-minute chart. And I let my group know 677 break down as well. And as long as below 675.5 and 674 are in play, holy moly donut shop, look at that drop to the downside. It went as low as 670.5-ish. Hit multiple of Uncle's levels. It was a beautiful day. Truly a beautiful day. And I'm looking at the daily chart. It looks like a lower high is in. So I actually have to adjust my trend line now. Go just like that. That looks bearish to me, guys. It looks bearish to me, and it looks like it wants to retest the 50 DMA. I'm not too confident in the bulls right now that it's actually going to hold that level. But like Uncle always say, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We want to take it one level and one setup at a time. What is the next critical support level to watch? Uncle, it's pretty obvious I'm bearish right now. But if there is more bearishness for tomorrow to end the week, what is the next level that must fail? Well, I have the 671 Fibonacci level. If that breaks down, 669 and 667 incoming. Now I know the 50 DMA is at 668-ish right now, but Uncle will be watching his 669 and 667 level. And I tell you, if we break down 667, that also gets it below the 50 DMA. I'm not too confident it'll hold, but I'm going to react to whatever the market makers want to give me. So the bear case scenario is this, because Uncle gives us actionable trading plans, not just predictions and opinions, but actionable trading plans so that we can all attract money to our trading account. If 667 fails the same way I showed you guys on my 15-minute chart, you want to look to short because the 50 DMA is incoming. 669 and 667 are incoming. Why does Uncle give so many levels? Is because I like to play it level to level. Like when I shorted 679 today, I took most profits at 677 and I left the runner. You can always add to your runners, but if you don't add to your runners and you just hold it, your runners would have caught all this beautiful move to the downside. You would have been up a lot. That's why I play it level to level style. No greed, no crystal ball. I just play the setups. And right now I'm telling you guys, if we lose that 671 level tomorrow, we'll likely drop down to hit 669, 667. And if that level fails as well, we'll most likely going to retest a previous low around 661-ish. What happens there? I don't know. But I do know that if we lose 671, we're going to drop some more, and Uncle will be playing it level to level style, and I'll let my runners catch the home run. So when I play it level to level style, that's pretty much a base hit. But if I want that home run, I let my runners do the heavy lifting. That's Uncle's trading style. So technically we did fill a gap today. So we have to watch what happens next. So now that you guys know the bear case scenario, loss of 671 should send us lower. Another $5 to $10 drop to the downside. But what if we get a bounce? Because we filled the gap. What if we get a bounce? If we do, 671 holds, then I need to see loss levels recapture. 672.5, 674, that was a previous pivot high back in early October, and my fib level at 675.6. If those levels recapture, 677, 679, and 681 will be back in play. And above 681, the next target I'd be watching is 684, because as you guys know, that's the blue down trend line. And if that clears, this low, this drop that we had today could be a higher low that could send SPY to new all-time highs or previous all-time highs. So while most people that are biased traders, they want a bear case and stick with the bear case, or they want a bull case and stick with the bull case, I believe as a money magnet trader, money magnetic trader, I believe in being prepared for any and all scenarios so that we don't get caught with our pants down. I believe in being prepared and unbiased, and I'm sending my knowledge and experience. I'm talking 8+ years of experience of trading and day trading, guys, and I give it all to you guys out of love, because I love my trading style and I love you guys for tuning in, because I want all of us to make money. Matter of fact, we are making money. We are money magnets. Abundance, like my Discord member K-Bot said, abundance is the default. Moving on to QQQ, came just a few cents shy of the 50 DMA, but the 50 DMA is going to slope up, so by tomorrow it's most likely going to look like it did hit it. But Uncle Chartist, what is the plan? What's the bear case scenario? I tell you this, if we lose support at 609 and 607.3 tomorrow, more downside incoming. 606, 604.5, 603, 601, and 599.3 would be my targets. I'm not feeling too confident that the 50 DMA will hold as support, but if it does, I would only trust the bounce if lost levels get recaptured. And what levels did we lose today? 611 and the fib level at 613. If we can recapture those lost levels, 617, 618.7, and my downtrend line here, green downtrend line around 622-ish, would be back in play, and above 622 would be breakout mode for QQQ. So we lose 607.3 tomorrow, bearish, more downside incoming, maybe another $8 drop to the downside. But trust no bounce unless 611 and 613 can recapture to give us a bounce back to the upside, maybe $5 to $8 bounce back to the upside. Tesla, holy moly donut shop. I did updated my Fibonacci levels today, and holy moly, we lost that fib level, that previous low from October 23rd, and it just kept on dropping to the 1.236 Fibonacci level around 399.7. Had a little bounce, had a little pause there. But if the sell-off continues, I have support at 401 and 399.7. If those levels fail, expect another $9 to $15 drop to the downside. No, that is not an exaggeration. But if it is bounce time, Uncle does have some resistant levels to watch. 403, 405, 408, 410, and 414. If those levels can recapture, we can get a bounce going, especially above 414. It would mess up the bear's plan because that was the previous pivot low, and a recapture of a previous pivot low would be bullish price action. So the level that bulls really need to recapture is 414. But like I said, if we lose 401 and 399.7 tomorrow, expect another $9 to $15 drop to the downside. Here is NVDA. Looks like it's going for the lower high as well. That lower high being November 10th high. And if the theory is correct, if the bearish theory is correct, the next support you want to see fail is 187. Almost broke it down today. Closed right around it. It closed a little bit below it. That's a weak breakdown. I want to see a stronger breakdown tomorrow. But either way, 187 is the equilibrium level. What does that mean? It means if we're below it, more downside is possible. 185, 183.4, 182, 180, 178.8 or lower would be my target. But if we do get a bounce, it needs to stay above 187. And I do have a resistance level or a fib level at 189.4. If that level clears, 192, 195 or higher incoming. If we're going to talk about a bounce that can put in a bottom, it has to recapture my moving averages. I have the 5 and the 20. It lost today, gap down below it. So it needs to get above 192 and 195. Then maybe, just maybe, we can talk about a higher low being in. But as of right now, it's looking a bit bearish. Selling pressure strong. And if we lose 187 tomorrow, that is your bearish follow through. Amazon, super bearish. Super bearish. You can see the previous pivot high from September 9th was at 238.8. Technically speaking, we lost that level on the daily chart. Now, what makes me even more bearish, gives me that bearish conviction, was November 7th action. Because we tested that level. The market makers recognized that pivot level. And they bounced that day on November 7th. And it led to a nice bounce to the upside. $5, $10 pop to the upside. But look at what happened. We dropped back below. So it looked like a dead cat bounce. Or in other words, a lower high. Today we lost 238.8, and as long as Amazon is below that level, Amazon's in false breakout mode. And false breakout mode means we are bearish and more downside is possible. 237 is the next support, with 235, 233, 230, and all the way down to 228.4-ish would be my targets. It's a good chance we go down lower. There is a gap fill around 227-ish, but like I said, we want to play it one level, one setup at a time. Trust no bounce unless 238.8 can recapture. 242.5 recapturing that would definitely help out the bulls a lot, because that was, if you scroll to the left, that was a previous all-time pivot high. That level was officially lost as well, which makes it even more bearish. But if bulls want to turn this around, 238.8, 242.5 are the two main levels they need to recapture, because as long as we're below it, Amazon's in false breakout mode. Meta, it's been looking bearish. In today's price action, it's overall still bearish, but we had a big body red candle followed by a doji. And it's a red doji. If it was a green doji, maybe we can get a reversal, bullish reversal tomorrow. But with this red doji, it looks like more of a break before more downside incoming. I don't know for sure. Price action is going to have to confirm it tomorrow. And if it is bearish, 610 and 608.4 must fail. And that should send us all the way down to 603 and 601.2. And below those two levels, 603 and 601.2, I would be bear biased. The sell-off continues. But if it is to be bullish, then the next resistant level that must clear is at 612 and 614. If those levels can clear, 616 and 618 would be in play. And above 618, Meta would then enter relief bounce mode, which means we can get a bounce, maybe a $5 to $15 bounce to the upside. 618, 622, 627 would be my targets to the upside. Above 618, like I said, it would be in relief bounce mode. Microsoft looking bearish still. It's really pretty strong rejection from the 50 DMA. Now it looked like it's bear flagging. To enter breakdown mode, it needs to break down 504 and 502.5. Below 502.5, the bearishness continues. But if we are to turn this around, yes, I did update the levels for Microsoft. You guys are getting updated levels. And to get a bounce going, 506 must clear. And of course, the 50 DMA around 514. Those are the two levels you want to see recapture, 506 and 514. To put 516, 520, 523, 524.5 or higher in play. Here is Apple just going sideways. It had that breakout recently and it went absolutely nowhere. Still bouncing off the 5 DMA. That 5 DMA is around 272-ish. That's the level that must fail tomorrow if we want to see some bearishness. 272 and 269.5. Those two levels fail. 267, 264.5, 260.6, all incoming. It would be bearish. But if we are to be bullish, because right now it still looks overall bullish, and we need to see some bullish follow through. And if it does happen, it would come in the form of 276 and 277.3 clearing to send us to 279, 282 or higher. Here is IWM. I was talking about IWM yesterday, how it was looking bearish, and it tends to lead the way. Theory was correct, as you guys can see. 237.5 is the level to watch for tomorrow. Below it, more downside is possible, and above it, maybe a relief bounce is possible. If we are above it, watch that 239 and 240.8 level. If those levels recapture, 243.5 and 245 would be back in play. Above 245, Uncle would be bullish again. But if 237.5 holds as resistant, if the price is below 237.5, then I encourage you guys to expect more downside. 236, 234 or lower incoming. And here is the VIX. Beautiful bounce, beautiful pop to the upside, got back above the 5 DMA, cleared 1943. That is a fib level. And as long as above 19.43, expect more downside. Expect more upside. It looks like VIX wants to try to go for some higher highs here, with last Wednesday and Tuesday's low being the higher pivot low. If it can stay above 19.43, I'll stay bullish on the VIX. Bullish follow through, clear 21.4. If it does happen, VIX is going up. VIX is bullish. And if the VIX is bullish, the SPY is bearish. Now, if the VIX decide that the fun is over and it's going back to being bearish, it needs to break down 19.43 and 17.5. Those levels failed. The VIX is once again bearish. And of course, before I let you go, look at the DarkPool level. Once again, very similar to yesterday, it was at the 683 level. Now, I do have another one where I had $878 million in premium. Not quite a billion like the 683 level, but 675.35. It's very close to my fib level at 675.6. You guys can choose what you want to reference. But there it is, DarkPool level, 683.14. Big money players have been very active at that level. And based on today's price action, it looked like they were selling. And of course, 675.35 had $878 million in premium. Let me refresh it one more time. Oh, yep, stay the same. 878 million in premium. As long as below those two levels, we are bearish on the SPY. Guys, if you want more content from Uncle Chartist and kick the market makers' ass and become master traders for the price action, join Uncle's Discord. Information is in the pinned comment below. But if not, it's all good. Uncle loves you anyways. Peace.